Hello, my name is Brian, and today I would like to talk to you about the laws affecting education here in the United States. As a teacher myself, I know how important it is to understand the legal history of education in this country. I hope you find my video informative. The first law I would like to talk about is the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Signed by President Johnson in 1964, the Civil Rights Act was enacted to address the pervasive problem of inequality in America. It prohibited discrimination by race, color, and national origin. So how does the Civil Rights Act impact students today? Well, as an ESL teacher, the existence of my classroom is a direct result of the Civil Rights Act. With nearly 5 million ESL students, increasing diversity, and continuing issues of inequality in the United States, the Civil Rights Act is just as relevant today as it was 50 years ago. Shortly after the Civil Rights Act, President Johnson signed into law the Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 1965. This law was enacted to further President Johnson's mission of closing the achievement gap caused by racial and economic inequality, also known as the War on Poverty. It aimed to close the achievement gap by establishing a system to determine fair and equitable distribution for federal funds. Though, as we well know, this was not entirely successful. Through the remainder of the 1960s, the Elementary and Secondary Education Act was expanded to provide protections for students requiring bilingual education and ESL services, as well as students with disabilities, though these expansions were not well received by the states. Students with disabilities were later provided enhanced protection through the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. A major revision of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act came in 2001 with the introduction of No Child Left Behind. No Child Left Behind was signed by President Bush in 2002 with the stated aim of setting high standards and measurable goals to improve student performance. NCLB required the states to implement a rigid system of exams to evaluate student performance based on predetermined standards. The results of these exams would determine future levels of school funding. So, what are the problems of NCLB, and why did teachers hate it so much? Well, as you probably know, No Child Left Behind was met with considerable backlash in the last decade. Many argued that tying funding levels to standardized test performance only further enhanced inequality between wealthy school districts and those that were already underfunded. While I personally did not have to experience the effects of NCLB as an educator, I am inclined to agree with much of its criticisms. As you will see in the following clip, teachers were displeased by standardized testing.
You shouldn't be able to define a person by their zip code.
Testing cannot close the gap between wealthy schools and poor schools.
And when we focus on standardized tests and not on what the kid can actually do, we're doing a disservice to the kid.
We need to lower the class sizes so that each student can get that one-on-one attention that they need.
They need access to art and to music. They need to be in PE classes.
What are we not teaching when we're teaching to the test?
As a result of a decade of backlash, NCLB was replaced by the Every Student Succeeds Act. The ESSA was signed in 2015 by President Obama. While divulging more control back to the states regarding education, it too has been met with similar criticism to NCLB for relying on standardized testing. Many educators have argued that it does not go far enough to correct the education gap. As this is a new reauthorization of the ESEA, we will have to wait and see how the Every Student Succeeds Act impacts student performance. Well, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed my video. Thanks for watching.